Hello, humans. Welcome to another episode of the Grounded Man Live. My name is Braden Stockfish. I'm here with David
Dave,
Walker.
thanks, man.
Yeah, good to have you here. And thanks for tuning in. If you're here with us on the interwebs, listening to our conversation, grateful to have you here. Today, we are going to dive into just what's going on in our worlds over here and unpack a little bit of, the last couple weeks of living and navigating that so that maybe perhaps someone out there can relate to some of the challenges we're facing as
Yep.
individuals in this world and
Hopefully, there's some celebrations in there too, because that's one thing that I find that we also do a little bit,
focus on the challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which there are definitely.
So what are you celebrating right now?
What am I celebrating? I'm really excited that we're doing the Feral Creator together.
Nice. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So this is like a business accelerator. This is Evan Meyer, who you've been into, I guess, for a while. I don't know how long.
I've been following him for probably a couple years, but it's only in the last 6 months that I've really tuned in and been like, oh wow, I really like what this guy's putting out.
Yeah, totally. And I love that I get to do it not only with you, but as part of this this business accelerator, but it's also me starting to show up for my work for my business in a way that I haven't in the past, and doing uncomfortable things that I don't love doing, which is posting content. It's sharing my story. It's putting myself out there more. It's I've been avoiding social media. Still don't have a built website, for years. And it's okay, I'm ready to take that more seriously.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this is a cool, easy way that we've used, throwing a camera on, getting in front of mics. We get to talk together and listen to each other, and this makes it feel easy. But when you're doing it all on your own, holding this, it's such an awkward way. I did this marketing for hippies course.
Yeah.
Tad.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole piece is just you're kind of a sociopath if you're always marketing yourself. If you're always I've got the best program. Here's why you should work with me. It's that's kind of, when I hear that from someone, I'm instantly a little bit okay, rejecting that versus me being man, my buddy Dave is insanely good at what he does. If you want to dial yourself in energetically in any way, whether that's your house, your body, your mind, your emotional state, if you're looking to create more alignment in your life, then I can tell you this guy is definitely going to help you with that. It's oh wow, that's so much easier for people to hold. And so I think that's part of it, I would imagine, is just selling yourself.
Totally. Yeah. It's I can just think of, especially being in the marketing and the sales world, in the corporate side of things for so long, that I just really developed a lot of resentment towards that area.
Yeah.
I was always interested in human behavior and marketing and things like that. And I know that so often it's we're creating a problem and then providing you with a solution, and we're just trying to sell you on shit.
Yeah.
And so it's I don't want to fucking do that for myself. But you're right. It's it's so much easier to talk about what's awesome about the people that you know and the stuff that you love, as opposed to about myself. But that's also an edge, and that's something to do more of. I talk about walking the dog, which is my way of saying don't, push down your ego.
Yeah.
And that's something that we do a little bit. And it can be uncomfortable. It can be I find it actually more challenging to talk about the things that I'm good at publicly.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a nice piece though of owning it.
Yes.
When I see people who do it, who are this is what my skill set is, and I know that I'm good at it. It's oh wow, that's so nice to receive and to know as well at the same time, that if someone isn't trying to sell it to you, they're just this is what I'm good at, yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
If this is something that you need, great. And I'm not going to sell you at all.
Yeah. It reminds me of one of the times when we were first looking for houses, sitting in the car together, right? And you had shared with me story, something about a woman you were with and some of your success there. And there was that, as you were sharing, in my mind, I was oh, is Dave posturing on me? Is he trying to tell me how great he is with women? And it's it's not that big of a deal in my head. I'm what? I've done this before.
Yeah.
Why are you so happy about this? I want to bring you down as you bring yourself up. And it was Oh, wow. I didn't say anything at that time, but noticed it and then brought it up with you later because that was an energy that doesn't feel like creating love. It feels like, oh, I'm defending, resisting, kind of like pushing away what you're showing me. And it's like, oh, I notice now there's other instances I've seen you celebrating yourself in ways, and I'm noticing my shift towards like, oh, it's nice to see my brother doing that. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and like you didn't know that until we started talking about that situation, but it's like you have a lot of dating experience, you
Mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm.
and you have a lot of that positive reinforcement. Like I was with my partner for 16 years, and it was actually an edge for me to share with you. It's like, hey, this is like a voice memo that I got that was like,
Yeah.
commenting on the fact that I had a nice voice,
Mm-hmm.
and that was admittedly like a little bit of a even for me like a wake up call because the way that I like my internal voice, and I think this is true of many people, sounds very differently than I sound externally when I listen to myself. And I
Mm-hmm.
like my internal voice better than my external voice.
Yeah.
And so I can be judgmental and critical of my voice. So to have like a woman that I was like dating and seeing say, like, oh, wow, you've got like a sexy voice. Like you should do, what was it? I think she was doing like, you should do like erotic novels. I was like, oh, that's so nice to receive.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I wouldn't share that with someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think even with men or myself, I notice I've shifted some of that, but there's even sharing about intimacy with women.
Mm-hmm.
There was a night we had all the guys here. That was the first time in my life I think I've actually opened up with my brothers around like, here's what some of the container looks like that I give to my partner or receiving that from
Mm.
someone else of like,
Yeah.
we don't really get that with each other of like, hey, show me the way that you love
Oh,
a woman.
totally.
And it's like, oh wow, it's so nice to feel that energetically, right? It's a
So,
beautiful thing that we don't really talk about. It's kind of taboo.
totally. Let alone experiencing it, like having like your friend and your brother like hold you in a way that he would hold like a lover,
Mhm.
you know? And
Mhm.
like, yeah, I think yeah, I know the day that you're talking about, and it was like amazing to like get to experience that from like I know that it was, one of our dear friends who
Mhm.
did that for me, and I was like, oh shit, like it helped me understand too the points of attraction for women.
Mhm.
Because so often we're on the flip side, we're in that like, oh, let me provide this energetic container, let me create this security. And when you get to experience it, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what I'm kind of doing unconsciously,
Mhm.
and that I can do even more of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it also breaks down the boundaries of like, I know you've been kind of outspoken about like, yeah, removing the stigma of am I gay,
Mhm.
especially from a lot of relating with friends, relating with brothers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I certainly, fell into that camp as well. Like when I was younger, like you just don't want to be thought of as gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was something to avoid
Mhm.
when we were growing up.
Mhm. Which is such a sad
Yeah.
piece for for people who identify as queer
Yeah.
growing up with that pressure of like everyone wants to avoid it, but then as it clicked in for me the other day, that impacted every man.
Yeah.
It impacted intimacy with men.
Totally.
That's like across the board. And I see that with the way, normally if you go to hug a guy, it's just that like one arm, tap the back,
Okay.
get away, like, oh God, yeah, I touched you for too long there. Or like,
Make an awkward joke to like make fun of it,
mm-hmm.
like to disperse some of the tension.
Yeah, or brushing, you accidentally touch
Whoop.
or something. Oh,
Whoop.
oh, sorry, bro, sorry. No homo.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, so unpacking that and even the more I unpack it, so it's like looking at intimacy on a spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we could be at the far end of the spectrum, which is, let's say penetrative sex.
Yeah.
And then, this end of the spectrum is maybe just sitting like this and having a conversation together. Or even just breathing together, it's like
Mm-hmm.
that to me can build intimacy if we allow it. And so, where along the line of that does it become like, okay, once you cross here, you're gay?
Yeah. And it was like a binary. Like if I think about my thinking, it was like, oh, here's the proof that I was so afraid of finding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to
Yeah.
me now to look at that in retrospect. But like you said, it really prevented me from like connecting with other guys
Mm-hmm.
in a way that feels so fucking nourishing now. Like
Yeah.
it's like awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, breaking down those defenses and finding out for myself, like, what does it feel like to relate with a man in this way? It, yeah, it's opened up my heart so much. It's created so much safety in myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's a level of confidence that I have that I'm able to carry around how I connect with a man, which is why, like, yeah, something like a bathtub conversation, which we had, like, we can have that. To me, I'm like,
It's nothing.
whatever, it's done. I haven't even thought about it. And then, like, in the last week, I've had two people, like, in, you know, inner circle, but like outer sphere,
Mm-hmm.
say to me, or to someone I know, like, hey, what's going on with this guy? Like, that's a little weird. Like, why is he, or like, keep that private.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that. And it's just fascinating to me of like, oh yeah, right. That's kind of why we did it. Because we know it's edgy
Yeah.
and we're doing that, but I'm now hearing a little bit more of that of like, oh yeah, it does trigger people. One guy in our group said himself, like, it was tough for him
To
to
watch.
watch because of the conditioning that's there of like, oh, this is wrong. This is
Mm-hmm.
actually wrong for me to watch this. And it's like, yeah,
And it probably is also like not only like what we're doing, but I can imagine myself if I put myself back in that kind of mentality. It's like, oh, I'm watching two guys in a bathtub. That's telling me something about myself.
true. Yeah, I didn't even think of that aspect. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, this is uncomfortable for me because am I gay just watching this in the first place and being okay with it?
Yeah, 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 true. And it's funny. Yeah, I mean, what would it be the same if we just had our shirts off? Like it
I
would
don't
be.
know. If we pounded our chest, that would be okay. You know,
Okay,
as long as there was
yeah.
bravado in there. I think it's the comfort and the ease with which
Yeah,
we were naked in the same body of water together.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And in today's day and age, I feel like that's part of. Someone said to me like, "Oh, I didn't consent to watching this sort of thing from you," and
Yeah.
it's like, well, it's my social media. I'm just that's for me. You can always just click unfollow and not watch. That's your consent button. And like I can put whatever I want, and the only thing that can moderate me is like meta, like they can tune that out. But hey, they've left up our our stuff and YouTube's got it. So it's like, okay, it's okay with that part of the world.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just find it interesting what that brings up and try to put myself back in because for me it's not an issue. So it's like, oh, what would be there? Yeah, the discomfort of seeing that, the discomfort of like, what are people going to think about me, or this person I know, or like I'm affiliated with this person. And if people are seeing him in a bathtub, they're going to think he's wrong. And then that means I'm wrong or something. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't,
There's a lot of stories that go on,
yeah.
for different people.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
And isn't that something, yeah, the stories of the mind, that's something you've been kind of, I mean, we're always navigating that, but,
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, I've just been really aware of mental looping.
mm-hmm,
Like in particular, there's this spiritual saying. It comes up, especially in A Course in Miracles and Byron Katie, that the first act of war is defense.
yeah,
Defense is the first act of war. Is I think actually the quote, and it's one that I've heard before and that I'm just coming back to. And I've been really like noticing just over the course of the day, like the two things that I look for when I'm like in defense or protection mode
mm-hmm,
is one is like I just feel like tight in my body. It's like I'm armoring. So it's
mm-hmm,
like oof, like I just get constricted. I feel tight. It's like, like if you're trying to prepare for battle,
mm-hmm,
that's one of the ways that it shows up. And then the other way is just in these mental loops. So, and I don't even realize that I'm trying to protect myself. But what it ends up doing is it's like I have the conversation, I'm rehearsing the scenario that is going to be, I'm imagining is going to be uncomfortable, or I'm trying to protect myself against a scenario. So, like in a date, like for me, I have a hard time explaining what I do for work to people.
mm-hmm,
And so I'm imagining in my mind, because I'm starting to date again, it's like I'm imagining in my mind, like, how am I going to address this question?
mm-hmm,
And how are they going to take it? And inevitably in these mental loops, I'm just rehearsing the worst case scenario.
yeah,
It's like, oh, it goes poorly. Or like another one that I shared with you this morning is like the Vitamix pitcher that's mine broke. And it's, I'm trying to rehearse in my mind, like, okay, like, how do I bring this up to avoid like any type of conflict or like, me feeling bummed out that it's like all on me.
mm-hmm,
and so much time is wasted. What ends up happening is that in that mental loop, I'm just recreating the scenario that I'm trying to defend against.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then all I'm doing is I'm having these invisible arguments with the people that I'm trying to connect with, whether
Mhm.
that's on a date or if it's with you and like other roommates.
Mhm.
It was happening with Onyx too, where I was just like imagining you being upset at me for like not doing enough
Mhm.
when the other dogs were in heat, and he was just like a crazy man,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. And then suddenly, like, of course, that's gonna like impact how I show up with you, because I've had
Yeah.
half a dozen. No, sorry, half a dozen is too little. Like I've had a dozen or more arguments with you in my head, and
Mhm.
so I'm like painting you as an enemy that I've got to like, that's gonna like say mean things to me and make me feel bad.
Yeah.
And so I come in defensive, and I'm just like,
And then we're physical beings that,
yeah,
there's so much more than communication. So
you pick up
you've
on
got
it.
that rigidity in your energetic body, and I come downstairs and right away my gut, I
Yeah.
can pick up emotion easily, and so I'm feeling rigid all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh, we're in conflict.
Yeah, because you're an enemy in my mind that I'm trying to protect myself against, and so you're like, okay, well, motherfucker, like, let's go.
Yeah.
And like the point of that is just like I just see like how much time and energy is wasted
Hmm.
in that,
Yeah.
and how much suffering I create for myself, and like how much loss of connection
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's so much like beautiful opportunity, like with one of the relationships with the woman that like we're no longer seeing each other going out, but like that was one example of I was like, let me be like fearless in my love,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And that's just a way that I want to live in life more, which is like I'm not going to try to protect,
Yeah.
like you become in many ways like unrejectable, because underlying that is like I'm not giving you the power
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
reject me or to like cause me harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was just thinking of something as you said that
Yeah.
was like, yeah, trying to avoid that rejection or taking away the actual conversation from happening. It's like you're taking away the power of that other person. You're putting them into this box of like, this is who you are. This is how
Yep.
you're going to react. This is how it's going to go. Yeah, usually there's some sort of a negative connotation that's a reflection of your own belief about yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm not good enough. So he's going to reaffirm that for me
That was
100%. And it's like, you know, then you do it. And it's usually never that. It pops the bubble.
Yeah, it's never as bad as I always think in my head.
Yeah.
Um like with you in that Onyx scenario, like it was like so much, like you popped it totally. Like it
Hmm.
was totally not what I expected. But like you said, there's a lot of cases where like the reality of the situation is, especially if you're dealing with people that are like not doing inner work and are not totally conscious, they're just going to feed into that mechanism that you're trying to perpetuate in your mind.
Hmm. Yeah.
um
But I feel like it's also part of strategy. Like there is
oh
an
yeah.
application for taking a moment to think, what's the worst case scenario of me taking this action and what's the best case scenario? But I think what you're pointing to is that a default is you're going to focus on the worst case and maybe not even think about the best
and
case.
it's an unconscious one where I'm just like, how bad is that?
Hmm.
Like you're just in the story and you're not actually like critically like trying to almost like observe. It's like, and what is the story that I'm making out of um out of you doing an action? So like let me make this a little bit more practical. But like in the case of like the Vitamix container,
Yeah.
you know, I need to take a second because I actually haven't like looked at the story tied with that. But in that scenario, it's like, oh, I need to take care of myself.
Hmm.
Like if you guys say like, hey, I'm not willing to pitch in to pay for that, it's like, oh, okay, like it doesn't matter how much I bring to a relationship. It's like I'm on my own.
Hmm.
Oh, and then the other story that I'm saying is like, if you were to say no, it's like I'm not loved.
Yeah.
Is that a true story? No, like no, but it's like taking the time, like you're saying, to consciously move into the worst case scenario. Also, that can be an effective technique when you're actually saying like, what is actually I think the worst case scenario,
Yeah.
and then what's so bad about that. That's a way of like dispersing it. But
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're letting it just loop in your mind, you're not actually engaging with it fully. You're like
Hmm.
you're still in protection. You're still kind of
Hmm.
trying to avoid
Yeah.
that situation. It's so different than being like, okay, let me collect myself and let me acknowledge like what's the actual worst case scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that so bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
date doesn't go well and someone doesn't want to go on a date with me again.
Hmm. Or yeah, I record a conversation in a bathtub and put it out publicly. It's like, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? Like something's gonna blow up and people are gonna be like, oh, this guy's the ultimate gay person that you should not talk to ever. And it's like, okay, like shoot, I guess
Yeah, and you're like, how likely is that?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
like, and but even in that scenario, it's like, okay,
yeah, yeah.
does that change fundamentally who you are as a person?
No.
Like that you're, expecting that, in many ways, like all of the other areas of your life are great.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I'm projecting things onto you,
I d-
but
yeah, but it is like we catastrophize usually based on this one little thing that we, you know, zoom all of our attention. I zoom all of my attention in on something that feels so important to my ego,
yep.
which just wants to keep me safe. And so it takes this awareness, and this is kind of what I've been catching myself in. And I titled already because as I write an email each week, I start to think like, oh, what's alive for me? And I keep having this thing of like, stop being a lame-o left brain Larry. It's like catching myself in these moments where I'm spinning my wheels, I'm focusing on the logic, the outcomes, and in my logic brain, I have default patterns, so it's like predictable
Mm-hmm.
how I'm going to be looping on whatever it is I'm considering. And how can I catch myself in that and like shift to something more creative? Where it's because that's the other thing. We tend to get in these binary situations of like, oh, it's either going to be this way or it's going to be this way, right? The
Mm-hmm.
worst or the best case. And it's like, well, if we get creative, there might be a way to do what it is we're looking at with some uniqueness. Like I think of planning for Soulcraft this year. Um, yeah, our annual retreat. It's a week long. It's scheduled for like a month after the due date of our baby coming into the world, and
Yep.
so the worst case is like I don't get to be involved, and I'm not, I don't part of this, so I could cancel the retreat or yeah, let it run and without me. Or the best case is like, yeah, I don't know if that is the best case, but I'm there the whole time. And it's like, oh, there's so much more. So the first thing I did is talk to other people, talk to Julian, talk to Ranger Steve, talk to you guys. And it's
Yep.
like, now we have 4 or 5 options because we engaged the creative mind and different people's logic. And it's like, oh, okay, well, now we're planning for all these different scenarios that on my own, I would have just been like a little more black and white with
Mm-hmm.
it. And I might have just said, hey, I'm not going to do Soulcraft this year. It's too much for me to make this decision, so like I'm just going to push it off completely and not engage in it. It's like, oh yeah, okay. So seeing that in the micro as well in my day to day of like, oh, how can I get more creative with what I do, and this is even part of that. It's
Yeah.
like how can we create content, have good conversations that connect with us, and have fun while we're doing it. It's like this is a creative and fun way to do that.
Yeah. Way funner than me on my phone being like, hey, here's something that I want to share with you today.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, trying to get, and that's part of. I'm reading this book, Therapeutic Shamanism, for a
Mm-hmm.
second time, which is really reminding me of that. The shamanic way or an animistic way of looking at the world is seeing that everything is alive and everything has energy, and how am I relating to everything, and just thinking in that way already brings me into a different frequency than in like the kind of rigid human way that I've been conditioned into growing up in this world. And so yeah, I just that's kind of where things are dancing with me that this brings me to. And I'm like, yeah, where's that
Mm.
showing up? Because it sounds similar to what you've mentioned around the defense piece.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like that same logic looping.
Yeah. It's like I'm not even drawing like totally the corollary, but I'm with you. It's like it's much more of an energetic state, right?
Mm-hmm,
Like the defense like could be like in the spiritual spheres, like I'm reminded of like one of the things that I first started to learn is like, oh yeah, there's really like everything is love,
mm-hmm,
you know, or fear,
mm-hmm,
and really fear is the absence of love. And from that fear is where like a lot of the defense is coming. But at least in terms of creativity, it's like I feel the least creative when I'm in defense.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's a closed energetic state and it's on self-preservation. And it's just like it fucking sucks. Like life sucks when I'm trying to defend myself
Mm-hmm.
against a lot of invisible threats that don't exist.
Yeah.
And in the cases where like we're talking about things actually happen, it's like never as bad as like it's the stories that I'm and the meaning that I'm attributing to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's causing me the actual pain.
It feels like it tunes down the magic of life,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right? It's like being open and creative allows the mystery to come into whatever it is that you're doing versus being in this like rigid defensive way of like this is how it is, this is how it's going to be. It doesn't allow that mystery to come in and be
Mhm.
part of what it is that ever that you're creating.
And like how many times do like, you know, what we might say like bad things, things that we're trying to avoid actually become like the catalysts and the openings for like the most amazing things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can think of, you know, like when I, you know, got pushed out of my consulting career and went through a lawsuit. Those are like huge crucibles that's
Mhm.
like opened me up to different parts of myself and actually have me like you know, more in love with the world and with different parts of myself. Or like separating from my partner of 16 years,
Yeah.
you know, super tough,
Yeah.
you know, still love her,
Mhm.
and I'm excited for what's coming in, you
Yeah.
know, and I still feel like at the precipice, but it's like those things that I was trying to avoid, trying to defend against are like actually setting me up for amazing things. It's like
Mhm.
living with you guys, you know,
Mhm.
I'm excited for my next partners, I don't know
Mhm.
where I fall on the like monogamy polyamory scale, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something that also like I generally notice that it's like, oh, I kind of avoid both speaking publicly and speaking, you know, certainly like on dates and things like that because we
Oh yeah.
fall into like the monogamy frame that is so pervasive
And
in
it's the
culture.
same thing too like, oh, if I say this, I'm going to get rejected right away.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, and for me, I flip that to the opposite when I, especially for dating.
Mhm.
It's like I'm gonna kind of try and poke as many little buttons as I can to see like how are you gonna respond to this, because that's gonna help me understand if like you're even playing on the same game board that I am,
Yeah.
and but instead the default is to like hide those unique aspects
Totally.
and just be like, hey, yeah, I'm on the same board as you. It's like almost a weird like shady
It's
manipulative way to build love and intimacy, and then once you like have that, and again, this is me
mhm.
saying this is what I've done, is like build that intimacy, and then once I have that, it's like, okay, now I can start to give you some of the real stuff, but you're already in love with me at that point. So
Yeah, and that can be like a weird bait and switch or like my experience of that is like I just am not actually enjoying the experiences to the extent that I could be because
yeah.
I'm like I haven't told you this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, when you find this out that like maybe I don't want to have a monogamous relationship, then it's like that's going to be game over. So it's like let me just like try and shield this, you know, it's like packing all of the like dirty laundry into like a small little closet and being like, "Hey, look at everything else in the room. This is all great stuff," you
Mm-hmm.
know? But like to your point, that's one of the things that again, dating is new for me,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm noticing coming into it, it's like we had a party here
Mm-hmm.
yesterday
Mm-hmm.
for Siete de Cinco de Mayo, and we didn't have it on the 5th of May, so we had it on the 7th. But like I invited, you know, a woman that I'm dating. Like we've been on 3 dates,
Yeah.
and admittedly, I was like, oh, this feels a bit early to like have them over to our house
Mm.
and like to have it in a party. And I realized it's, you know, we live together. Community is a huge part of my life. I
Mm-hmm.
want it to become even, you know, bigger parts of my life. Why wouldn't I bring someone into my world early, like you said? Because, hey, this is either going to be more evidence and indication that this is a good fit, a good match if you're into that,
Yeah.
and if you're not, then great.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not them. You know, the story that I'm saying is like I'm unlovable or I'm unwantable because like someone isn't into my lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone has their own preferences.
And you're gonna I filter people out more by being more real. It's like the people that want to unfollow me when they see
Yeah.
me putting a bathtub video out, that's great. It's
Yeah.
like perfect. We're creating an energetic alignment here.
Yeah.
If I hide that from you, then you might be like, "Oh, Braden's a super normal guy. He would never do anything like that." It's like, "Oh, hell no, man. I'm just getting warmed up."
Yeah.
Like
It's the tip of the iceberg.
yeah. So, I love that, and it just made me think actually of another. Well, there's a couple pieces that have come up that I kind of want to loop back because
Yep.
for me, it makes me think of like the when I was first getting into this world, and got into energy healing. I was curious about it. I saw someone that I was like, oh, I trust this person, and so I went and saw them, and there was the first couple times like there was little symbolism or little things that I would get in my journey that the mind, my logic brain right away wants to just be like, oh, nonsense, coincidence. You know, there's no magic. This is how it is. And you're just being silly in your brain. And there was a particular one where, you know, I won't explain the whole thing, but it was like I arrived in a lilac flower at the beginning of this guided visualization, and
Mm-hmm.
there was this whole energetic journey that was all around like Pan. And I think I told this on another
Mm.
episode, but um, after when I went home and I Googled, you know, what's the like symbolism of a lilac flower or mythological symbolism of a lilac flower, and the first thing that comes up is like the story of Pan and how, you know, he was chasing this woman who he wanted to pursue, and she didn't want that, so she turned herself, or the gods turned her into a lilac bush,
Mm-hmm.
and then he ended up like cutting a reed from that and turning it into like the first ever Pan flute, and then
Mm.
from then on he like woke people up to their artistic magic by playing the flute and waking them up to like their beauty and their magic. And it was like I remember seeing that and my left brain just like, oh man, there's no way that can be a coincidence. And at this point I had seen like multiple layers, so
Yeah.
it's such an important piece I find,
Mm-hmm.
especially for men, because we want to be like, no,
Logic. Yeah. Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no magic. I know everything. I'm able to control everything
Yeah.
when it exists in this side. But when I open up to the mystery like that, it's like, ooh, it rocks the boat. I don't know what the outcome is. It's unstable. And I
Yeah.
want to like contain it and hold it down. And this like leads in. I know you've got something here, but this leads
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
like
No, I love it. Keep going.
just yesterday with my partner. Uh, you know, we had friends over the other day, and they were hanging out, and she was feeling a little tired, not really social, and she went and like read on the couch and was just like doing her thing. And I noticed in me, normally I like celebrate her for being her wild little self, but there was this part because I had people over that I care about and that I want to like impress. And for me, being a good boy is how you impress people, and being like well mannered and engaging. And so when my partner is just reading on the couch and not talking to these people, it's like, oh, she's going to make me look bad, you know? And she's just being like a selfish little girl who's taking care of herself. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like
Mm-hmm.
seeing that, I want to control because it's too much unknown. And bringing that up with her too, so that we could move through that energy together. I did it in a bit of an unconscious way, like a couple days later. But thankfully, you know, she's so beautiful that she called me up later and was like, "Hey, I've got some anger I want to express." And then it was like, "Oh yeah, like let that wild woman tell this scared little boy how it is." And that
Yeah.
was like she was just like, "You, this is not how it is." Like blah blah blah. It was hot. And it's like, oh, taking something and alchemizing it like that, but it's like, yeah, that's the life that I've been living for most of my life, is like this contained, controlled life. And I'm loving opening it up. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that I'm like, yeah, working with guys on too, because it's like, holy shit, I just see how much it is for me, and I know that's the case for others,
Oh
right?
yeah, like you said, like safety and control,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
And that on the other side of that, it's beautiful when you get opportunities like yeah, with your partner or like the synchronicities that you're talking about. Like I have my own experience of those.
Mhm.
And sharing those with other people, like there are people that will be receptive to that, but you can never give the full experience of the embodiment of like knowing it's like, oh shit, like
Mhm.
all of this stuff is lining up. Like I have my versions of that.
Yeah.
And um I'm like taking a second here because it's just like those moments are the ones that just like have me so fucking in love with what this is.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like fuck yeah. Like
Mhm.
it's the best. It's
Mhm.
the best medicine. But yeah, trying to logic it, it's beyond logic.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's beyond logic.
But how does it move, do you think, from, because I'm in a place now where
Yep.
it kind of becomes awe,
Mhm.
but I think at first it becomes discomfort, because it's out of the control. It takes away the safety, and so it's very like disabling, like it's disruptive
Yeah.
for people at first. And so how have you made that like transition of like going from disruptive to awe.
Hmm. I love the question. I'm taking a second with it.
Yeah.
I think for me it's I don't even know where the arc started,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe that life is constantly teaching us and trying to wake us up to that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so for each person it's a really individual journey.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like going through the lawsuit was one of those
Mm.
things, getting pushed out of the company. I remember getting into spirituality like as so I just bought my house. This is late 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was with my ex, so at that time, I think we were together for a decade. I think we were at the 10-year mark. So I'm
Yeah.
like with a partner that I love, married at that point in a, successful career, making multiple six figures, and then living in a house. And so I'm like, oh, I've checked all of the boxes. And it
Yeah.
was like the first snowfall, and I was like, oh, I think I've made it. Like I did all the things that society tells me are necessary for happiness. And I was having a good day and I knew I wasn't like totally happy. And then the next thought was like, I don't think this is going to last very long. And a
Yeah.
month later, I got, noticed from, ex business partner and the owner of the company that I was doing the work for. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to let you go, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then sued me later.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just deep enough into spirituality where I was like, fuck, I know that I can't just get back at him.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the portal for me. So for me, like I can be like a heady guy. And so I
Mm-hmm.
started reading about like the Bhagavad Gita, and like I started doing Joe Dispenza meditations, and I started like looking at all of the different esoteric like teachings,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see those breadcrumbs. I'm like, oh, they're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once for me, like the big eye opener is once I did mushrooms for the first time.
Mm.
So I'd been reading about altered states and altered states of consciousness,
Yeah.
and then I did mushrooms. And like everyone that writes about this and talks about this, and I'll say the same thing. I can tell you about it, and until you have that experience, you don't know.
Yeah, it's ineffable, right? Yeah.
Um, and once I had that experience, I was like, holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And that just like totally opened my mind. And in its own way, like I know that in the Rosicrucian tradition they call it, but I think reading the secret script,
Mm-hmm.
that there's a secret script that like life is trying to show you, and it'll talk in images, it'll talk in like little
Mm-hmm.
breadcrumbs. So like you'll hear from your friends like the same, they keep recommending the same person, or
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
thinking about something and then you notice it,
Yeah.
in life.
And it's everything. Like even when I look at all that gets pulled into my sphere, it all mixes together in a way that's like, oh, like this is so uniquely for me
Yeah.
to understand. And you have your own
Yeah.
mix to like bring to the world that it's like, oh yeah, there's something speaking through us or moving
Mm-hmm.
through us rather than, and that's the thing to me is like popping the idea that it's that you have anything to do with it, right? It's like I get caught thinking like, oh, like I'm the one in control here, and it's like, oh man, there's something so much bigger happening that I don't have the capacity to like see it in its
Yeah.
fullness. And so then it becomes not trying to figure that out, but trying to listen for like, what's my role?
Mm-hmm.
When do you need me to jump? When
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
me to step, you know?
And like as you bring this up, it actually reminds me of like one of the biggest phase shifts for me in terms of like my opening up and being willing to like quiet that
Mm-hmm.
logical side of my mind is like I would say that I was borderline atheistic
Yeah.
beforehand.
Yeah.
First 30 years of my life, basically, like I think there might be a God, but that was still protection. I'm like, I don't want to not believe in him, because if there is one, then that's like not good,
I'm gonna get smitten
Yeah.
or
So I'm like, you could exist,
spited.
but like I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't until like having the mushrooms experiences and like where the phase shift was is that I actually started to trust that like the universe cares about me, and that there's this huge net
Mm-hmm.
that's there to support me.
Mm-hmm.
Because before that I'm just like, it's random chaos.
Yeah.
And so I need to protect myself. If I don't protect myself, I will get killed,
Yeah.
And then now I look at the universe as this overwhelmingly friendly, kind, loving space
Dude.
that is going to it is going to wake me up if I, keep shutting myself down. And that's going to come in like with what looks like chaos,
Mm-hmm.
and hard things. But those are ultimately to bring me towards a more loving, authentic, real expression of
Yeah.
myself. And so like I now look at like when bad stuff happens, I'm like, what's the lesson in here? It's
Mm-hmm.
trying to wake me up to something. But
Yeah.
that was the biggest phase shift, is like actually trusting that this universe is this like, you know, um singular expression that we're all connected in some ways, even if we're like super different at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
personality level. But it's like, oh yeah, there's something bigger than me and it cares about me and it's
Hmm.
there to support me, and it's not something that I need to protect myself. That actually, as I open myself up more good things just keep happening.
Yeah. And as you say that, I'm like, oh, because we have that, confirmation bias of our minds, that like whatever we believe and look for is kind of what we're going to attract.
Yep.
Why, to me, from a view of like pragmatism, it's like
Yeah.
I kind of sit with that of like, okay, there is part of me that still thinks like, it's all totally random chaos. And like, that's okay. But in my day to day, I choose actively the story of like, I'm supported. There's a beautiful unfolding mystery that's moving towards more coherence and connection and love.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I have a role to play in that. And when I take that belief, it's like, whoa, everything responds to me in that way. That's how I see the world.
Yeah.
And so it's engaging and it's beautiful versus like if I was closed off and all this is chaos and I just have to like get through this basically. It's like, well, that's what you're going to see and that's the life that you're going to create. But yeah, the mystery is going to keep knocking on your door,
Yeah.
right? And trying to wake you up, and it's funny how we get woken up through discomfort, through
Yeah.
challenge. It's like we get whispers, we get pulls, but for some reason we're not willing to
Like,
look at
no.
it because yeah, we've been so conditioned. And this comes back to, in the again therapeutic shamanism, and even in the last book I was reading around ritual. So Stephen Jenkinson, and then like Paul Francis. These guys are kind of bringing a more animistic lens to life and talking about how this is how our people lived.
Mm-hmm.
There's no book on shamanism. There's no dogma around it. There's nothing that tells you this is how you have to do, this is how God is. And all around the world, there are shamanic practices, drumming, chanting, breath work, plant medicine,
Mm-hmm.
singing, healing. This has happened for thousands and thousands of years all around the world, and there was no connection for people to make that we know of, but somehow they were doing the same things. It's like this is part of our genetics to live in this way where everything is alive and communicating, and
Yeah.
and when we do that, like life feels rich. But then there's the mind, the Roman Empire, the colonization, the monotheistic control
Mm-hmm.
system that's come in and taken over that says like, no, this is how it is. You need to have fear about these things that we don't understand, emotions, women, mystery, contain all of that, put it to the side, stuff it down, and
Yeah.
focus on this stuff. And it's like, whoa, that has disrupted our connection to nature, to each other, to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we're in the renaissance of like coming back into that way of living. And now we have a whole bunch of crazy technology to leverage in that
Totally.
space as well. That is exciting.
Yeah. And that's, one of the things that can be a beautiful medicine too, like looking at like when we talk about all of the control mechanisms, right? Like we talk about like empire or like patriarchy and things like that. It can be like at times a very negative view.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like I definitely saw that would bring up my defense mechanisms, even as like I started to open up. I'm like, oh shit, there's people out there trying to control us,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And when I can sit with that more objectively and like actually be with that, like now I just look at it as like, how do I not know that this is part of like the great arc
Yes.
of humanity?
Yeah.
That like, yeah, it's like a moment of shadow,
Mm-hmm.
but that ultimately that's one of the biggest catalysts for like us coming together,
This is how
you
we
know?
grow.
This is how we grow.
Yeah. The world has to disrupt enough so that finally people are like, oh, yeah, I can't ignore this
Yeah.
anymore.
Let me go in the opposite direction of like, instead of going towards love, let me see what it's like to like totally try to defend myself and protect myself. And you get to have that experience of like, it's fucked up,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but you wouldn't know unless you did the thing. Like that's where, you know, all of the pain and suffering from life are big teachers, right? It wakes
Mm-hmm.
you up to, it's like, oh, not that,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is remaining open to it.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to me. Brotherhood or just having community, mirrors around me to remind me to stay open during these challenges,
Mm-hmm.
because in times of isolation, when I'm on my own and I'm getting hit with challenge after challenge and I'm not opening up, I'm not talking about it, I'm keeping it all contained, it's like that's when I just keep moving towards more numbing, more pain, more resistance
Yep.
and fracturing. And eventually, like that has to get like shaken up in a much more difficult way than when I feel some resistance and I bring it forward. And then I have loving people who are like, hey, man, I see how you're seeing it that way. And like,
Mhm.
fuck, that must hurt. And
Mhm.
also, like, here's how I see it.
Yeah.
And then I hear that and I'm like, oh,
Ah.
yeah, okay. Maybe you're a little more right. And someone else reflects something else and someone else reflects something else. And now it's that like co created reality that's like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, I'm not a victim to all of this. Actually, I'm a creator to my life and I have agency. I have power here. And I'm going to use that to like make this world a better place rather than resist it.
Mhm. And then you realize other people have like so many good ideas, and like I don't have to do it on my own.
Yeah.
You know, it's like like I just love living with you guys because it's yes, it's sometimes we trigger each other,
Yeah.
and it can be a challenging mirror, but like the way that everyone lives just like reminds me of like, oh, and I could do it that way. Like
Yeah.
my way isn't like the right way, and it's like, oh, I can relax on this side of things. Or like like one of the things that you taught me that I love that I do in the shower in the morning is like I do like the ball slapping,
Yeah.
like just activating the chi in my gonads,
Yeah.
and that's just like one of the examples, like there's so many other ones, and it's
I love that. Like, that's something that, like, as someone smacking their balls in the morning to wake up, that it's like, oh yeah, that's the that's the imprint I've given someone.
yeah, that one just like coming off the top of my
No, it's great. Yeah, yeah,
top
yeah.
of the dome,
I love it.
but
That even yesterday, we're having a party here, and there's like 15 people, and I look at our plates again, and I'm like, oh, there's 8 plates. I'm like, we need more plates, guys. And you're just like, Snake King, you got more plates? And I'm like, oh yeah, I have some. I just brought them, and it's like, that's community. That's like, oh yeah, I have this need, and if I was on my own, there would be a whole way for me to have to do that, or I would have had to ask people, or it's like, oh,
go to
but
the store,
yeah,
yeah.
he's right there. He's got plates downstairs, and it's just like, again, that can be the thing that's like, okay, well, that's just how it worked out, and blah blah blah, and logically, I can explain why my friend has plates
Yeah.
in the basement, and it's not that big of a miracle, but in that moment, it's
It's
like we manifested it instantly. Like, we need more plates to host parties like this. Boom, more plates are there like literally a minute later. And that's a result of, and that's not the only example. That's just the one yesterday.
it's so easy.
It's
Yeah.
constant like that of like, oh yeah, and we motivate each other, we push each other, we trigger each other, but honestly, man, like that, more and more I'm learning to love that.
Yeah.
To be like, hell yes, like I want this guy because I'm learning to harmonize more with you. I'm
Mhm.
learning to like let that be part of the dynamic, and part of that triggering is like old wounds, old
Totally.
things that I'm holding on to that are like, I need to be this way, or you need to be this way, or I need to be in control
Mhm.
again. And when I'm out of control, when you're stepping into control, it's like makes me uncomfortable, and so I want to resist that. And it's like, oh, can I soften and allow and celebrate?
Mhm.
Come back to celebration, because we're always, just like you said at the beginning, you're always focused on like the challenge, when it's like, hey man, can I just celebrate you for stepping up and doing what you do, and how about you celebrate me,
Yeah.
and like let's keep that going rather than the like resentment and
Totally.
annoyance and like posturing and closing and like, I'm at war with you. It's like, hell man, we're not at war. That's why we're here. There's this beautiful
Yeah.
thing moving through us that wants us to like give more to the world.
Yeah, and like you said, the triggers are the biggest catalyst, like biggest um ways to integrate,
Mm-hmm.
right? These repressed parts of ourselves. Because I think about like the men's group this week and like learning that clearing exercise,
Yeah.
and then realizing that your charge is about you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get to see the charges,
Yeah, I'm wondering what that clicking is. Sorry,
is it my
I
finger?
can hear it. Yeah,
Oh yeah, thanks.
yeah.
I don't have the headphones.
When the charge is
When the charge is up, like I can think of even one like small thing that will sometimes get me like prickly
mm-hmm.
is like, you're so good at getting up early in the morning
Mm.
and being like the first one up, and you're like getting after it.
Mhm.
Like I see you writing at the desk and things like that. And
Mhm.
you've got a loud keyboard.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this motherfucker's making noise, and it's like it's bothering my process, and I'm trying to be meditative. But the reality is the only reason it's triggering is because I'm just like, oh man, like I have such respect for that,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And it's like the story that I'm telling myself is like, oh, I should be doing that
Mm.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I could, but
Mhm.
also your process is different.
Mhm.
That's another thing to acknowledge. It's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you doing that, and
Yeah.
I can find my time for peace and quiet. And the other thing is like, oh, let me celebrate you, like
Mhm.
doing that,
Yeah, yeah.
being a positive mirror. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to live with you in the first place, is
Yeah.
because I knew that you care
Mhm.
about this type of work. You care about like pushing each other. You care about like leaning into the shadow, leaning into the triggers.
Mhm.
And so it's just a beautiful reminder of me to like remember that and be like,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's the same. I looked out before we came out here, and you're out here. I see you recording. I see you doing the thing, and like one of my reactions in my mind is like, fucking Dave, like probably sending like another like generic message, and it's like, what the hell, man? Like catching myself as I go up the stairs and think that, and I'm like, he's out there getting after it. You're just upset because he's showing you what consistency looks like, which you're not doing. So like, why don't you just make time for yourself? And it's like, oh yeah, that's true. Still fucking Dave.
Yeah, fucking Dave.
But
Yeah.
it's like, wow, so interesting that that's the view when I want it to be celebration. And the only way I can turn it into celebration is to bring it out like that, to bring it out like this, to be like, oh, wow, yeah. And maybe there is shifts, it's like maybe it is a process, but maybe we use that as like, oh, Dave's out here recording. I feel that emotion. It's like, great, I'm going to go record a video right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's pushing me to be me. And it's like, oh, in the morning, yeah, maybe you stick with what you want. Maybe you're like, yeah, you know what? I don't need to fucking meditate right now. I'm going to
Yeah.
go do my thing and get after it, and let's go. Or this is me getting after it. It's
Yeah.
just a different way, right? But yeah, it feels like we're learning to shape something together that's like hasn't been wielded for a long time between men, or at least that I know of.
Yeah.
It's I haven't seen it well executed. I think of like Aubrey Marcus, but again, I don't know in the like behind the scenes details of how they're capitalizing on that dynamic to like push each other and be like, yeah, give me your fire, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's use that together because we're not at war. We're
Mm-hmm.
both committed to the same thing. And like, let's align ourselves and take action together on that rather than this whole nonsense that we keep trying to recreate.
Yeah. And how much I can think of the times when you've like also given me the reflections where it's like you're like, hey, can I share something with you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just those are such portals into relationship and connection. And every time I can't think of a time where I haven't received something good in that. Like
Mm-hmm.
like the other day you were telling me like, hey, celebrating the video that you shared, and it's like, and can I share something which is like, hey, like where are you in that,
Mm-hmm.
like, tell me more about your story, who's Dave? And it's like, thanks man, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's great, I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is an edge for me. It's like it's easier for me to talk about like general concepts and about information, about wisdom, and like try to like share from that space. And it's like, oh yeah, it feels a little bit more confronting to be like, oh yeah, and this is my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it feels scary for me to bring up because I'm like, oh, I don't want you to think I'm not. I'm not always want to be critiquing
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, I want to celebrate you. You are getting after it, but I also want to do that because I hope someone would do that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I hope if someone sees me doing something that they're like, hey man, you could. I'm happy you're doing this, but like this is how it lands to me. I'm like, oh great, thank you. That's why I want mirrors around me, is so that
Yeah.
I can refine myself in this way. It's uncomfortable, but actually like I love it, and it's no longer uncomfortable. It's like gets me stoked on life.
Yeah. Like I know one of the things that I was finding like a trigger for a little bit with you was that like you often play devil's advocate,
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
can be a contrarian.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was even doing the work, and I was like doing my judgments like, oh, like Braden should be nicer to me, or he like shouldn't be so hard on me or so critical. And as I really like look at that, I mean, first you can always find these things like, of course that's happening for myself. I'm all of those things that I'm projecting onto you.
Yeah.
But more importantly, like a beautiful portal was like, actually like, why wouldn't I want a friend to like play that devil's advocate and to like push against me? Like, so much better to have you embody that
Mm-hmm.
energy and for me to be like, oh, Braden's like one of my best friends and
Mm-hmm.
one of my closest allies. Let me engage with him in that way, which is just like a beautiful opportunity for me to get more comfortable with that stuff. So that
Mm-hmm.
way, like when it is someone that I maybe like actually don't relate to very well, it's like not nearly as triggering. It's
Mm-hmm.
like this is actually these beautiful portals. It's like, yeah, I should celebrate, the things that I was previously like defending against. Like, yeah, bring the fire, you
Yeah.
know?
And there's those times where, yeah, it's like you've called me out on it, where it's like, hey, man, I hear you being a devil's advocate here, but like, what is your position? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't even actually know. I'm just
Being a devil's advocate.
being resistant because I'm probably in that thing of like, well, Dave can't be smarter than me. I'm the smartest in the house, so I got to put him down when he's getting too carried away. It's like, okay, chill the fuck out, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's that like alpha dog thing that's like, okay, you don't need to keep doing that. But we're finding that balance of like, where is
Mm-hmm.
it appropriate and where is it more, hey, I need to actually like submit and relax a little because this situation calls for you to have the reins.
Mm-hmm.
And like then the next situation calls for Andrew to have the reins and then Gabby and then me. And it's like, I'm not good at all of those things. I don't actually want
No.
to have the reins all of the time because I know what my life looks like, that I'm like, dude, I do not want to manage all of this.
Yeah.
You're way better at me than some things. And
Yeah.
like, please don't let me do that, So it's good, man. Yeah.
Hmm. You're taking a breath. I'm taking a breath.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're having the same thought.
Yeah, we're 56 minutes. This feels good. It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you too. Thanks if you tuned in. Yeah, we love you too. And thanks for doing this work. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting. And always share this video, add a comment, like, help us grow this.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring this way of living to more and more people and being open to the magic and the mystery of life. So, yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.